is always something in the nature of a hoax, because it really does deal with a domain of experience that can't be talked about. But one must remember at the same time that there's really nothing at all that can be talked about adequately. And the whole art of poetry is to say what can't be said.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the GTAS podcast. Today is Sunday, May 27th. I'm your host, Bob Rusin, and I'm joined by my co-host, the always disgruntled Adam Miller. How are you today, Adam?
I'm disgruntled.
That's what you are today? Is there any reason, or are you just humoring me with the adjectives?
No, I mean, that's commonly an accurate description for my demeanor, I'd say.
Just disgruntled?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Joe, I mean, we get a long weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
I even worked yesterday, but I feel really rejuvenated. I'm not exhausted. Like, I feel like, last week was the week that, where I was just dead. I was like dead behind the eyes, behind the voice. Like, everything was just, oh God, I just want to die. Like that type. Yeah, that was last week where we recorded on Monday, I believe.
Yeah.
That actually came out better than I thought it would. But man, I was just done. I was wearing, I looked like such, I even looked at the video feed for that, and I'm like, man, I look like a piece of shit. I look disheveled.
I look partially melted Gumby.
Yeah, I look like gaunt. Like, I looked really weird. I was like, ugh. God, I can't even remember if I was wearing a hat. If I wasn't, I needed to be because my hair looked like just garbage. But, I mean, what else has been up with you besides being apparently disgruntled? Anything else?
I picked up Horizon Chase Turbo on the PSN. Was fucking awesome. If you like the old Top Gear games from the Super Nintendo.
That's what you were saying. It was like...
exactly like that. Exactly.
Doesn't it have kind of like polygon?
Yeah. It's like more modern graphics. I think it might be made in the Unity engine because it kind of looks like that other game that I played recently.
Do you happen to know, is that exclusive to PlayStation, or do you know if it's on other stuff?
I don't know.
No idea?
No, I'm not 100% sure. I know it's definitely on PlayStation, obviously. That's where I have it. But I don't see any reason why it couldn't be on the other
How much
systems.
did it cost you?
I think I got that for, I want to say $9.99.
Not bad.
Or it might have been $14.99, but whatever it was, I had a 20% off coupon. You remember the one that I told you about? You couldn't get it
Adam tells me like, I had this code that got me. What did you do? Watch a trailer or something like that?
Yeah, I watched a trailer for Detroit Become Human or whatever, and they gave me a 20% off coupon. And then I told Bobby about it the day after the last day.
Yeah, and he's like, I told Tegan. I'm like, well, thanks. Thanks for telling me that you told Tegan. Because that really does me fucking any good. Thanks. Thanks a whole fucking lot, Adam. Because that's what I need. Well, I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me? I mean, I told my brother and I told Tegan. What the fuck? That doesn't make me feel better. That makes me feel worse. Like, what the hell? Why would you do that?
But apparently it didn't make Bobby too angry because Bobby got me this F-Zero poster.
Yeah, I found out the light's kind of glaring on it, but I mean, there you go.
Is it a little better?
Yeah, it looks a little bit better there.
Yeah.
So if you're checking out if you're just doing the audio feed, it's an F-Zero poster, but it's like
from the Super Nintendo.
But it looks like it's drawn in like the anime like comic book style of
the original artwork.
Yeah, it's really neat. I saw it and I was like, yeah, god damn it. All right, I'll pick it up for Adam. And I've actually this place that Adam and I used to work, we're from Pittsburgh, and there's a local chain called The Exchange, which is like a used game, record store, music store type of thing. They sell like pretty much anything there that's like pop culture related. But they just started doing these really cool prints of games, artists, like bands, movie posters, stuff like that. And I checked.
It's just like old, out-of-date marketing material, basically.
Yeah, that's just been, they just reprint it and blow it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. You know, I don't think you can just
take old
other
copyrighted material
and just blow it up and sell it. But hey, I don't care. I mean, it's whatever. I'm just gonna call it for what it is. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, it seems like it's a minor copyright.
They had a big one of the Bubble cover art from the NES days, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I'm pretty sure that is copyrighted material that you can't just print and sell. I don't think it works like that. But every single time I go through there, I look and nothing ever really jumps out that I'm like, man, I want to have that for my wall yet. But I'm like, I see something like, shit, there's F-Zero. And for my other friend, I got him a Mega Man X. And I'm like, damn it. Like, when am I going to find like a Ghost and Goblins or maybe like...
Tell them you want one.
I was thinking of maybe like, yeah, can you drop them a hint? Like, go on their Facebook page and be like, hey, wink, wink, I'd really like a Ghost and Goblins blow-up picture. Would you do those and send them to stores? Because they just keep coming out with more and more and more because it probably costs them nothing to do.
Yeah, it costs them the ink and the paper, really.
Yeah, and what does that honestly cost? Yeah. Like, nothing. I mean, that little picture was like $5. I mean, whatever. Yeah. It's nice.
That's probably 49 cents worth of ink and paper.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you're doing a pretty good profit there. And, you also, speaking of though, you were mentioning the racing game. What was it called one more time?
Horizon Chase Turbo. I'm pretty sure it's called.
You were mentioning that and how you just got that. And
also picked up Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is like a prequel game to the Bloodstained game that we had talked about ages ago on our old podcast.
Mm-hmm. We mentioned it last week with Shenmue.
Kickstarter. Yeah, when we were talking about Kickstarters. Yeah.
Yeah. And that should be coming out relatively soon, and we're both backers on that. Mm-hmm. And what's cool about this Bloodstained, what's it called?
Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon. It's really neat because it looks like it's just like the original NES Castlevania. Yeah, and you told me, and you're like...
it plays like it controls pretty similarly. So if you like those kinds of games, you're going to love this.
Yeah, if you like old school Castlevania.
And if this game is any indication of the quality that's going to be in the newer game, the Bloodstained like full game.
Is it a good sign?
Yeah, saying? I would say it's a very good sign. It's very well put together. It's not buggy at all. There's no.
And that just kind of came out of nowhere too, and it seems like it's like a full game.
Well, it was part of the Kickstarter. Like one of the stretch goals was like a prequel game.
So
that's what this is.
Oh, that's
cool.
This
is the prequel game.
Because prior to Shenmue, that was the highest grossed
Kickstarter of all time.
Yeah, for a video game at least.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty neat.
Then it was Shenmue, and then it was it Star Citizen? Is that...
Star Citizen is like, I think, the highest
grossing crowdfunding ever.
Yeah,
isn't it, or something like that?
It's in the. I think it's in like the millions. It's insane how much this game has. I don't understand because I never heard of it prior to us doing these like podcasts. But so I picked up that as well. Obviously, I just literally downloaded it on my Switch like 15 minutes ago when Adam said it was out. Told him about it, He's like, "Hey, it's out. You should grab it." I'm like, how much is it? He's like, $10. I'm like, sold.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $10.
Yeah. And you did.
I did. And obviously have not played it, but maybe I'll pick that up tonight because I'm still working on my God of War and trying to get that all completed because I kind of have 3 games just on the Rolodex, essentially. So I'm working on God of War. And on the Switch, I still have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that I want to play. When
you finish it, let me know. I want to send you a meme.
Of God of War?
Yeah, but it'll reveal the ending in advance. Yeah, so let me know when you're done with the game.
Okay, I'll let you know that. Because I have on Xbox, I have the Master Chief Collection. I'm trying to go through the Halos again, or at least Halo 1. Then I got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch, and PlayStation, I'm working on God of War. Yeah. And so I'm trying to decide what my next PlayStation game is going to be, and I'm thinking it's going to probably be, I was mentioning maybe it might be a Yakuza game. It might be that, it might be Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or it might be the Odin Sphere. I really wanted to...
Or Dragon's Crown, or like...
The Odin Sphere game that they... remember that we got
remaster,
back? Yeah, I've been wanting to play that forever, so I think it's going to be one of those. But I really want to try to go real deep into Xenoblade Chronicles and try to get that done. Because that is a goal. Because I want to get another Switch game. But it's like, look, okay. I think both you and I have this tendency where we just buy games just because they're out. and we don't end up.
And
even
they sit
playing
on
them.
a shelf sealed until we decide it's time to play them.
Yeah, so I'm trying to work.
I've been slowing down on that a little bit.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a thing, and I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
that's not just us. We're not just the crazy psychopaths.
I think
that
a
do
lot
that.
of people that have played games for a long time do that.
They just buy it because they're like, oh, I'll get it eventually. Yeah. And so here's what I'm kind of like deciding. I really want to get Donkey Kong, and I really want to get Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on my Switch. I really do. But I'm getting to a point now, I think just not even in life, but in just certain choices that I made, or that I make, where I'm like, I gotta slow down. And how about I play the game first? Or, like, I'm not going to say I'm never going to just buy a game straight out without actually, like, like, oh, I'm not done with this game, I refuse to buy this. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But maybe instead of me, like, just going and picking up a used game just because it's cheap, maybe hold off. And then maybe with these newer games, maybe by the time I'm ready to play it, it'll also be discounted. Yeah. Possible. Like, because now I have State of Decay 2 that I still want to, but I get, at least with State of Decay 2, I get to wait a little bit because of this the bugginess of it. So I'm going to wait for them to patch that, wait for someone to tell me, hey, they finally fixed it, it's worth playing, you'll get the right experience out of it now. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. That was like my epiphany this week when I was like, you know what? I've got 3 consoles and I got 3 games on each one.
That you haven't touched yet.
That I've touched, but not to a point where I'm like, I need to sit down. Like, I think I've played maybe 4 hours of Halo. I've played maybe about 6 hours of Xenoblade. And I think I'm on the last, like, 2 hours of God of War. I'm really close to that being done. And that game just gets better and better every time I put it up. Like, I'm always sitting like, all right, let's play. It's a great game, I've noticed, where it's really easy to just pick up, play for a little bit, and put it down. Yeah. It's not...
I think they were really intelligent in making that game that way, because a lot of the fan base for that series, I mean, a lot of us are getting older. We're almost 30.
Yeah, because the original God of War games, I didn't think were really well suited to that. They're not. But they were okay. But I remember whenever I mentioned to you about God of War, one of the things that I said is, and it holds true, is when I used to play God of War, I always would say, oh, I'll just play this for a little bit, and I ended up like beating the game at the end of the day because I would just get so...
You'd get sucked into it.
I get sucked into it.
And just as an adult, we don't have that luxury anymore.
No, I only really have weekends now.
Yeah.
I was like sitting there, I'm like, what am I going to do this weekend? You said you weren't going to be coming over until like 5 o'clock. I was like, all right, well, let's get like 4 hours of God of War in. Yeah. And that just flew by like crazy. The game is really good. Like, its story and its score are incredible. Yeah. Now, I want to say this, though. This might be a little bit more controversial. Not like major. Like, this isn't like world-shattering thing. But I think that people with God of War, what was like, whenever you said... When you were reading articles or hearing people talk about it, what were some of the highlights that you would hear? Because we didn't script this, but I'm just asking you, like, you personally, what did you... Because I want to see if you hit what I'm about to talk about. But,
people were hyping up the gameplay a lot.
That's exactly what I was about to talk about.
Yeah, okay. I figured that might be where you were trying to go, because I remember we did have a conversation about this. I think it was sometime last week.
Maybe.
But we were talking about how you felt that the gameplay was good, but that the emphasis being put on it in reviews and people's opinions of the game is kind of overblown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Maybe.
I do remember this.
I don't remember it at all. Maybe I just tell so many people that I just forgot. Because, that's my issue. Yeah. It is not bad. It's not anywhere even close to being it's not even mediocre. It's great. It's great gameplay. It is. But I remember that reading the reviews of everyone just saying like, oh my gosh, God of War is so much better now with the gameplay being fixed up. Now it's perfect. And I'm like, okay, let me try this game. And it's fun. It is fun gameplay. I have a lot of fun with it, and it gets better as you go throughout the game. At at the beginning of the game, you're kind of limited, obviously. That's just how God of War's always been, where as the game gets further on, you get more power-ups, and it's, that's how most games are. But can everyone just cool their jets a little bit about how incredible this gameplay is? Because it's pretty much... this is the part that people are going to get pissed off at me. It's pretty much Resident Evil 6 with an axe. You know? You
mean with the over-the-shoulder camera? With
the over-the-shoulder camera, whenever you're throwing the axe, you get to a limited slow... You go to like a slow walk. And it's exactly like if you're playing the Leon Kennedy stuff in...
You were getting Leon Kennedy mixed up with Francis Scott Key for a second.
No. Leon's... I just...
Is his name Scott?
Leon Scott Kennedy is what Leon Kennedy's name is.
Wow, that's a really lame name.
Leon Scott Kennedy?
Yeah, that's so nerdy.
Yeah, well, that's what it always has been. That's how I've always... Because Leon is one of my favorite game characters, because Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite.
No, he's definitely cool as fuck. But
yeah, Leon.
That's a really nerdy name.
The S stands for is Scott. Yeah. Leon Scott Kennedy. But, yeah, okay. But regardless, like, when you go and play Resident Evil 6, which I don't think is that bad of a game, I think people just get a little crazy about how the action kind of over...
Well, with Resident Evil 4, there was a huge change from the previous Resident Evil.
Yeah, games. Of course.
There's a lot of people that are hardcore fans of the old games that think that Resident Evil 4 ruined the series. I don't feel like that at all.
Shut the fuck up. That's what I can say. They can shut the fuck up. I'm not even going to know. Because it was a dying franchise. It was dying. Yeah. No pun intended. But then, hey.
You're right.
You know
because everything that came out in between Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 4 sold fucking terribly.
Yeah, I think Code Veronica
was the only one that did any good, yeah.
And that was its first stop on the Dreamcast that people were like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
But no, but then they did the Origins collection where that's the one thing that I've always liked about Resident Evil is that they don't forget about their fan base. Like, okay, they heard some complaints and they decided to address it. And they were like, okay, people weren't too happy with Resident Evil 6. Okay, so let's maybe take a step back, reevaluate what we're doing, and they
came back with Resident Evil 7.
Which I think is universally acclaimed by fans, non-fans, game critics. It's pretty well received. Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that they turned it into a first person, but the game's great. It's the best VR game. We need to play that, actually. I'm going to see if I can talk to Brian about maybe getting his VR headset so you can experience that. Because I'd also like to see Joanne use it too. Joanne would scream her head off.
She'd probably end up throwing up. She gets motion sickness in the car sometimes.
Really? Yeah. Then maybe I wouldn't have to. Maybe I couldn't subject her to it because it's not motion sickness, but like you're just looking around.
Yeah.
And like birds will fly by and you're like, oh shit! Oh my god, that's terrifying. I'm like, dude, it's just birds.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
What was I thinking about? Oh, the Resident Evil shit.
Yeah.
They addressed their fan base, and then they were like, okay, well, let's throw them a bone. Let's go old school Resident Evil and throw them the Origins collection and stuff like that. And then they're like, okay, well, maybe some people who are fans like Resident Evil, let's throw them the, what were those? Revelations 1 and 2. Let's throw them that. And those are really well liked too. So I think people need to shut the hell up about it.
For the most part, none of the Resident Evil games they're not bad games, but there are Resident Evil games that are bad Resident Evil games.
Yeah, like
5.
Yeah,
5 is pretty universally panned.
Yeah, I remember playing Resident Evil 5 was really cool for its first like half of the game where you're actually like in Africa, even though there is some kind of like racial shit that are like that's kind of weird. And I get it. Me looking back at it now, I remember like being like, well, what's the big deal? You are just a white dude just going around and just gunning down just a bunch of Africans. And it's like, it is kind of, it does feel weird looking at it now.
Yeah, in retrospect.
But the game was like gorgeous back then. And I was just like so excited for Resident Evil 5 that I kind of just didn't look at it that way. Yeah, and then the AI was just garbage. I think, what was her name? Shiva?
Yeah, she couldn't manage her inventory.
No, she would take your inventory. Your inventory was linked with hers, and she would if she would run out of bullets, she would just take yours, and then she would just mow down.
She just spray.
Yeah, she would just everywhere. Yeah, she would just spray bullets everywhere. So, I mean, it just kind of was goofy. I kind of thought. But
I'll have to see if I can find it again. But I'm pretty sure either one of my friends posted or did the calculations himself for the boulder feat.
But being able to punch that boulder?
Yeah, like how much strength that it would take to move something of that size. How like the actual force that you would have to put into it. It's pretty fucking ridiculous.
The thing was the size of a fucking truck. It was huge. It seriously was like a 14-foot boulder.
Yeah, in diameter. It was like a 14-foot sphere that he just punched into lava.
That was like, and then I remember they were like losing their mind. They're like, this is officially when Wesker dies. Spoiler alert, but the game's been seriously out for like, how was that game, like 12 years old at this point? Maybe it's like 9. I think I might have been out of high school whenever that game came out.
It was early in the Xbox 360's life cycle.
It was supposed to be like, I think it was even rumored eventually to be like a launch title. So maybe, let's just say it's let's say it's like 8 years. Let's say it came out in like 2010. I think that's around the same time.
I don't think we need to look it up. It's not that important.
Yeah, nor do I really feel like it. Okay, Adam. Okay, so clearly, we're just going to be upfront about it. There's just not a lot talking about this, so that's why we're just kind of doing like a little bit of bantering and having a little bit of a more relaxed version of the show today. Yeah. But we have a couple topics that we're just going to talk about. One's a big one that's going on currently in games, and then the other ones are just some more like movie news. So we're going to kind of hit some topics there. And so the first one, Adam, is going to be our take on this whole Battlefield 5 controversy that's going around with the so-called hashtag not my battlefield movement going on. Have you heard about that?
Controversy in quotation marks.
Yeah. It's really controversial that bunch of fucking babies online are bitching because there's a woman on the cover of the game. Fuck you. You fucking animals. What's wrong with people, man? God damn it.
Can we just go into how fucking stupid they are?
We will, but hold on. Let me just do a little bit of a, like...
You want to decompress?
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Okay, so let's go on real quick. And, like, what the headline of this is that, you know, Battlefield 5 released a big trailer of in-game footage, and there's a woman in it who has a prosthetic arm, and it's
she looks fucking badass.
Well,
that's the one image.
Apparently not the people, but I think it's just because she might have a vagina that they don't like her, and they don't have anything between their legs, so they're gonna flip out. It really drives me nuts. This really pisses me off.
Like her vajayjay made their acorn penises vibrate.
Yep. Pretty much. So in the trailer, it's kind of like panning around to this chaotic field, and there's just carnage. There's people getting blown up. There's airplanes flying, blowing up, tanks flipping over. It's insane, and it's gorgeous looking. If it's all actual in-game footage, and so it's a combination, you know, of EA and DICE who released the great Battlefield 1, which I loved that game. And I remember people flipping out about that cover art, too, with the black dude on the front. You remember that?
Yeah.
People were flipping out about that. What? I don't think they're... Like, I don't know if they were sitting there saying that black people weren't in World War II, because I'm pretty sure that...
World War I, you mean?
World War I, which I think that was horse shit. But regardless, like, yeah, they were flipping out saying, like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, shut the fuck up. So the thing is that the game's going to feature for the first time playable female characters. Yeah. And with right now the cover art is featuring, I swear to God, if they change that cover art to shut people up, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to not buy the game like I plan on buying it. So.
Yeah, this is like the first Battlefield you've bought.
Yeah, that I'm like super excited for. Not only is it one of my favorite historical periods, but it's going to be historically accurate, despite what these fucking acorns think.
Exactly. Because it's so funny. Because I think it's so what's the big problem? What's the big hullabaloo with this is obviously the female on the cover, so that people are starting the hashtag not my battlefield campaign, which is just a bunch of crybaby bitches saying, this isn't my battlefield.
It's not historically accurate.
And it's just pandering to the minorities. Like, fuck you, because that's completely false, actually. Like, that your first statement is trying to hide behind this, well, I want historical accuracy in my games. Yo, guys. Okay, look, guys, I'm just gonna be completely upfront and honest with you here. It's a fucking video game. You guys remember Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 1? Guess what? You want historical accuracy? Parachutes don't fly out of your back and then go back into your parachute. They don't happen that way.
In your fucking backpack.
Yeah, they don't go back in your backpack. You can't jump off of a bridge, deploy a parachute, and land safely. Guess what? There's your historical accuracy going out the fucking window. Because I remember being able to strap a shitload of C4 to a Jeep, jump over a ramp, jump out of my car, and blow it up while floating safely to the bottom. Look, maybe that happens in real life. Maybe like in a once in a blue moon type of thing. That doesn't happen. So let's get this bullshit out of the way that this video games need to be historically accurate because... what? Like, it's a video game. What is wrong with you? Like, okay, I got it. And you know what? And if you're watching the video feed of this, like, fuck you, and you like, and you're disagreeing with me, like, fuck you, and just downvote it. I don't give a shit. Downvote the video. You send it to your friends to downvote. I don't care. But I think it's kind of funny because I was reading an article on GameSpot, and they said, I'm just going to read exactly what the article says here, but it says, women existing and playing major roles in this game isn't rewriting of history anyways. Women actually did fight in World War II. Some notable ones that are, I can't really pronounce this, but Lydia
Pavlichenko.
Yeah. Do you know what her first name?
Yeah.
How's it pronounced?
I think it's Lemildia.
Yeah. Pavlichenko?
Yeah. Pavlichenko, I think.
Was a Russian sniper with 309 confirmed kills, making her the deadliest female sniper in history.
Yes.
What's that quote that she told? You told me about this. She had a quote.
Somebody asked her, how many men have you killed? She said, not men, fascists.
Yeah. So there's that. Then there was Wanda Gertz, a Polish soldier who posed as a man, pulling the whole Mulan thing, began her career in World War II and eventually led an all-female battalion. And then there was Eileen Niern. I'm sorry.
Some of these names I don't know.
But she was a British spy who was dropped into France to create a network called Wizard, and she was caught by the Gestapo, tortured, and sent to Ravensbrück, and later escaped during a transfer to another labor camp. So those are just three notable ones, and I wouldn't actually mind seeing a movie on one of those. So
there is a movie about Pavlichenko.
Really?
Yeah, there is.
Is it in English or is it in...
It's in Russian, but it's subtitled.
Cool. Okay. So I might check that out. So there's that visage that women weren't in World War II.
And it's not. And just because GameSpot only focused on 3, I want you to know there was way more than 3.
Yeah.
Like, there was women in the Soviet Air Force. There was women in Soviet infantry. There was tons and tons of women fighting in resistance movements all across Europe.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not saying that there were only 3, but I think that people dislike it, and because there's a woman on the cover, and they use that as like a shield, like to hide their true intentions. Like, it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with historical accuracy. Their argument.
No.
Also, let's also. I'm not going to make a guess at a figure, but let's think about how many of those people are also fans of one of the most popular franchises in video gaming history, Metal Gear Solid, have no problem with the boss having fought in Normandy, having been the first woman in space. This stuff didn't affect you. Why is it all of a sudden affecting people now? Because it's very clearly about something else.
Yes, it's because the boss wasn't on the... Well, actually, I'm not going to say that because the boss wasn't on the cover art. I'm going to say because the boss wasn't really known until who she was until you played the game.
Yeah,
that's true. For the most part. But also back then, when did that game come out? Like 2005?
I want to say 2003 or 2005.
Like something in that area.
Yeah.
Back then was a lot less like politically correct, justice warrior stuff. And then I hate that term, but that age wasn't around. Like, that was an age where you were,
You were just whatever you were.
Yeah, you just...
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying.
There was bigotry, but it wasn't on this degree where everybody just has this anonymity.
I think the bigotry existed, but it really didn't have... I don't want to say it didn't have a platform in that it wasn't there, that it didn't affect things in society, but with the internet being as big as it is now...
It's just... the social media wasn't really around.
Yeah, it's like giving people...
Might have had MySpace.
Fucking morons a megaphone to scream from the rooftops.
And it, unfortunately...
it's like reactionary behavior.
Unfortunately, it's the loud ones who are always the herd, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read you a statement that was read by the DICE's boss, Oscar Gabrielson. He said, first, let me be clear about one thing. Player choice and female playable characters are here to stay. He said, we want Battlefield 5 to represent all those who are part of the greatest drama in human history and give players choice to choose and customize the characters they play with. Our commitment as a studio is to do everything we can to create the games that are inclusive and diverse. We always set out to push boundaries and deliver unexpected experience, but above all, our games must be fun. And that is completely the right response. He's not really addressing, like, I
feel like he's just like, he doubled down on it in a polite way. It was like, basically like, yeah, fuck you, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah, it's not going away. Our games are not meant, our goal is to include as many people as possible. And
it only makes me want to support the game more.
I know, but do you want to know what just drives me nuts? Look, you want to... it doesn't even make... Like, it's driving me nuts. Like, I'm like, exhausted already talking about it. But here's my thing. Look, maybe... Okay. Devil's advocate here. Maybe there would be an issue if, like, that was your only option to play as a female. I think that's stupid. Like, I don't care. But, like, just doing for sake of devil's advocate, maybe there would be a little bit more of a justification behind it if they're like, well, I don't want to play as a female. I'm going
to counter your devil's advocacy with another devil's advocacy.
Okay.
What about if all the characters were men?
That's what I'm kind of like.
That's what you were going at?
That's what I'm kind of going at. Yeah. Like, well, if they're all men, well, what's the difference? It's like the same reason why when people were like, when we go to like Star Wars, and it's like, well, why is the most powerful Jedi a female? Okay, well, why was the most powerful Jedi a male? And the other ones were all male-led, but now you have a female one, and now you're flipping.
It's all of a sudden it's a problem.
Yeah, but like, here's where I'm going with it. Like, okay,
sure.
Let me just say, like, I don't agree with this, but I'm just saying, like, maybe there would be a justification. You're like, I don't want to play as a female. That's not what I want to do. That I'm not a male. I'm not a female. I don't want to play as a male, as a female. Do you get what I'm kind of saying?
Then don't.
Well, then don't. But like,
that's why they have character customization.
Yes, that's where I'm kind of coming full circle with this. Yeah. It's not forced upon you. It's just an option. Or what they did in the last one, you play as a female in the last Battlefield. You play as I'm pretty sure in the Lawrence of Arabia little like story plot, I believe you play a female, but no one gave a shit about that. But that was a character that was forced upon you. That's the character you play as.
Yeah.
But that's the story mode. Like in the point of the story mode, it had showed a bunch of other perspectives of the war, and I just kind of find it funny that I don't hear anybody.
Nobody bitched about that one.
Nobody bitched about that one. Nobody said a goddamn thing about it.
Yeah.
But now that there's a female on the cover and it's in the front.
Very curious.
Yeah. I think it's more people who are bitching and complaining who aren't even playing the game. Yeah. I think I 100% believe that the majority of people don't give a fuck. But there's just these people that just don't want like anything but what they're comfortable with. But just don't play as her. Don't play as a female version of the character. It's stupid. Like it's like Street Fighter. Don't play as Chun-Li. Don't play as Cammy. Just play as a guy.
What's next? Are they gonna boycott Street Fighter 5 because there's a woman character DLC?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
You know what I think would be hilarious? I think it would be the best thing ever. You know what DICE should do to just to shut that up? Throw a transgender person in there.
They'll fucking shit their pants.
Throw a transgender character into World War, because you don't think that there might have been people in World War II who
there definitely was.
Yeah.
There definitely was.
Throw one in there. Put her on there. That's what I want. Next game, put a transgender character on the cover. Do it, DICE. Do it, EA. I think because EA probably has the call on that one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember the name, but I remember specifically a guy, I think he might have been Canadian or British, that fought in World War II, came back from World War II, got married, and came out to his wife that he's felt like, and his wife, they stayed married the rest of their life, but he transitioned to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
And they stayed married until she died.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So I can't remember his name, but I'll try. And
I
see
couldn't
if I
even
can
imagine
find
that. Like,
Yeah.
That's just an awful situation all around for everybody. But that's who cares? They're
who gives a
they're
fuck?
just avatars. That's all they are. Like people, and so like. I think the DICE boss is that he wanted to create a hashtag called Everyone's Battlefield.
Holy fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think he started that. I think he went on his Twitter and at the end of that, because that rant that I was talking about that he said goes on a little further.
Yeah, not my battlefield.
Because he says that people disapprove of historical inaccuracies. He's like, yeah, but we like to create a game where people like to have fun in it. Like, we remember people trying to fit 5 guys on a horse and have flamethrowers. He's like, well, we like to include diversity and we just want our games to be fun, so this is technically everyone's battlefield.
Yeah.
And so he did that, so good.
Yeah.
Because let's not pretend that.
So people are acting like this is a fucking Spider-Man game, but you're playing as the Green Lantern from DC Comics.
Yeah. You're not being sold something that it's an avatar.
Yeah.
Or, for the sake of it, let's say it's a Spider-Man game, but whenever you play it, you're Black Cat. You know?
But even that would make sense because she's in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. That's
what I'm saying. Like they're acting like they're taking a character from another franchise, or they're fucking. Again, just to use because it's in my head, Spider-Man as an example. They're acting like they took a literary character from a novel from the 1800s and stuck him as Spider-Man.
It's just these people online are just. It's because they just have.
They don't have anything fucking going on in their lives.
No.
Half these people don't fucking work.
I remember just watching the trailer and being like, wow, that was a pretty awesome trailer. I'm really hyped for Battlefield 5 now.
See, I haven't seen the trailer. I've only seen the screenshot of the lady with the hook hand, and she looks fucking bad fucking ass.
Oh, well, we're going to watch the trailer after we get done with this podcast. I want to show it to you.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like, wow, that's awesome. That's an awesome trailer. And then I went on Twitter to see what people's reaction to it was. And all I see were like people going like, are people seriously bitching about there being a woman on the cover and a woman being the focus point of the story?
It doesn't even. Is she the focus point of the whole story? Because in Battlefield 1, you played as different characters.
That's what I think they're just gonna do.
It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. Like just don't look. If you got a problem with women, one, I don't want to know you. But two, if you also got a problem with women in your games and you have the option to not play as them, then just don't play as them. Just don't. You know, like I didn't hear people. I don't understand why certain games, and you know what? And I feel bad for DICE, and for the first time, I feel bad for EA.
How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, I feel bad because
how did you make EA the good guy? You fucking moron.
Yeah, because EA is now in a situation where if they didn't put women in it or didn't put customizable characters, people are gonna be like, oh, well, they're sexist and they're assholes and they're crazy. Like, why is there no diversity in these games? These games are designed only for men. And that's pretty much what Call of Duty was. No one said anything about, that with Call of Duty. But, well, where's the diversity? And so then they add diversity. Well, why is there so much diversity? It is just it's a lose-lose. With not even just EA, but just any of these game developers.
Yeah.
And all of these movie companies now, like, I don't feel bad for them because they're billion-dollar companies, but at the same time, like, these developers can't catch a break.
I mean, they have all these companies, not to make them out to be the good guys, because they're, like you said, they're multi-million-dollar or sometimes billion-dollar corporations.
It's just that everybody online is going to either stab them in the back, or they have to fall on their own sword.
Because the media is alarmist as fuck. They'll run a headline that's clickbaity as shit, and then instead of people reading the fucking article, they'll just go on Twitter and be like, "Eh, there's fucking women in my battlefield," or "Oh, there's fucking," like, just fuck off. Yeah. Fuck off. All these people that do this kind of shit are like, did you hear about the fucking guy who's 30 and his parents had to take him to court so he would move out of their fucking basement?
I heard something. You might have sent me it.
He went on fucking like CNN or some shit and did an interview, and they asked him all these questions about like, are you working right now, or blah blah blah, and he's just a fucking nobody. He has no job. He has no fucking plan for anything, and he's just like a conservative douchebag online. That's all he does, and that's all these people are. Like 45% of these people don't fucking work. They don't do anything.
Yeah, and it's like the same thing. Like, well,
that's why they're online fucking flipping out about this shit. They got nothing else to do, nothing going on in their life.
And it drives me nuts because like there's so many downvotes on the Battlefield 5 trailer, but this isn't like, you know how like everyone got together and like banded together on like the Battlefront and were like, no, fuck this game, we're gonna downvote all of this. This is stupid because this is unfair, that type of stuff. Or like when no one was like, we don't want this type of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Was that the one where they were in space?
Yeah. Like
they downvoted that because like this looks bad. This looks like a dumb game. But the trailer is gorgeous. The trailer looks awesome. And people are downvoting it because of a woman in it. Because there's more of these assholes online than ever now. You know? And it's just, it's fucking, it's gross. It's gross. And fuck those people for doing that.
Like we talked about, I think it was in our last podcast, if you still have those kinds of feelings about people and you're in your fucking 30s, you haven't grown as a person, and maybe you should think about, like, fucking returning to the fucking dirt.
Yeah, because I'm tired of this. This is the type of mentality and this is the attitude that keeps video games in the Stone Ages. Like, we're in a growth period of this genre, and games are the most profitable, like, entertainment entity right now. And you're the assholes that are keeping it in the ground because you can't let it evolve, because you don't like seeing a pair of tits in your video game unless they're being unclothed.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, you're right. They're putting at risk probably one of the best times in video game history, where for the first time we're having budget titles and experimental titles come out for the first time since, like, the PS2 era. Yeah. So, what is that, 15 or 18 years ago, we had games coming out like this, and we have it now, and you're fucking shitting all over them.
Do you want to know why I have such a huge problem with this? And it holds true. Remember how a few weeks ago we were talking about trolling online and how it's just
that's what I was referencing,
and how it's toxic. It's funny that. Oh, sorry there. It's I just burped and it just that was bad. We were. I was mentioning.
This is making you about to spit up. It's so
gross. It's really like ruffling my feathers. But it's what's funny is it's all the abuse and all this shit is going on with these games that have these audiences that are online. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like all these online-based games, because no one cares. I didn't hear this type of thing when like Heavenly Sword came out, or perfect example, Adam and I's favorite game of the year, like last year, was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Fucking amazing.
I don't remember anybody sitting there saying like, oh, well, why is it a female? No one seemed to care, because guess what? These are just it's a game that keeps this toxic fan base out, because you go on there. I don't know about you, but Adam, I
don't play any fucking online games anymore. Not in a party chat with my friends. I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't. It's always Mike's.
Not because I'm a frequent victim of harassment. It's just I don't fucking care about what other people have to say about anything. I'm here to enjoy this game with my fucking friends, and I don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I mute all my. And you know what? I was actually very surprised because not too long ago. I've mentioned it a few times on the show. I got an Xbox One, And a big reason why I was really terrified of buying an Xbox One was because the main reason why I left the Xbox 360 behind was that the fan base of that was becoming so toxic and so like
infantile.
That I pretty much left gaming for a while because I was tired of it. I was tired of gaming. There was a good period towards the end of the lifespan of 360 and the PS3 that I just kind of dropped off the face of the earth with it and didn't care. And so when I got the Xbox One, I was kind of terrified when I got Overwatch for it and how that was going to be. And I'm going to actually say maybe it's not experienced with everybody else, but surprisingly, at least with Overwatch, I've had actually a really good experience
with other players. Yeah, like one of the only online games that I spent a significant amount of time playing that I didn't constantly get involved with toxic players was Metal Gear Online, and I think it's because it's such a niche title.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that might be. I mean, I know Overwatch was a fucking huge game, but the people who are still playing it now, like a lot of people have moved on to the last Call of Duty or whatever,
or like the Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, or Fortnite. Yeah, so the people that are left for Overwatch are like the serious community that actually gives a fuck about.
Yeah, that's what the people that I had. Like I mute a lot of them, but I never went. Never. There was a point where I was like, I don't need to go and mute everybody because no one's talking shit. They're just strategizing.
Yeah.
They're not being assholes. They're not being annoying. They're just doing their shit. And that's it. And that's been my experience with it. So for the first time, the Microsoft Xbox community hasn't, so far turned me off. Now, I'm sure that would change if I went to, Grand Theft Auto on there. I'm sure that's a lot worse because PlayStation's is bad. PlayStation's is really bad.
PlayStation's is mostly 12-year-old kids telling you that your mom's gay.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's fucking, that shit doesn't bother me because it's being fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's what we talked about.
But when you're an adult, that kind of shit's not acceptable.
No, you got to get over. Yeah. And unfortunately, all these people who are adults are the problem here. Because I don't see this Battlefield 5 woman on the cover thing being a problem for younger people. Because
I don't think anybody under the age of, I don't know, I want to say 23 probably gives a fuck.
I'd say that's a fair assessment. Yeah, because
this is normal for them.
I'd be really tempted to just punch someone in the face if they were trying to ever seriously come up to me and talk to me about why Battlefield 5 did the wrong thing by putting a female on the. I guess someone eventually has to, someone has to take a bullet. That's the thing. It's like in any genre, any type of industry.
Yeah.
You gotta power through it to the point where just people get over it. And so, when you get that one person every once in a while who has to take the bullet for it to move forward, eventually another person will come. And you know what? Less people will shoot.
Yeah.
And then the next time, maybe only a few, and then it just keep doing it. That's the point. That's how you progress. You just got to power through it. And in any aspect of life, you just got to power through it. And then eventually, it's not going to be a bother to anybody. Eventually, these people are just going to get over it, or they're not going to have their little community to fall back on. And it'll be a real small community. But recently, it's just been the last couple of years, just the hatred online is just getting ridiculous.
All I have to say is, congratulations to these fucking morons that made EA the hero in a situation.
Yeah.
I never thought it'd be fucking possible. So I guess, I wouldn't necessarily count that as a positive.
Yeah, it's not. It's like a lose-lose.
EA's still a shitty company, but they're doing the right thing here. And congratulations on fucking making yourself the villain up against Electronic Arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most hated company in America multiple years in a row.
Yeah. The company that just did Battlefront 2. You're making them look like good guys.
Yeah, the company that just fucking made a loot box in International Legal Battle.
Ugh. Yeah.
Just holy fuck.
It's ridiculous.
How fucking shitty should you feel about yourself right now?
Yeah, you really should.
Jesus Christ.
Hashtag everyone's Battlefield. Hashtag get a life.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, we're going to actually go on to another one. another movie story today, which is that apparently Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story, isn't doing as well as they previously had hoped, and they have almost pretty much slashed its original prediction of about 150 to 170 million in half almost, because we're doing this on Sunday and there's still tomorrow, which will be Memorial Day. But as of this point, domestically, it looks that Solo has only made about $88.3 million domestically, and has made about $65 million in the foreign markets, which is awful. But that's also minus Japan, which Japan is probably like maybe like top 5 countries that like Star Wars the most.
Yeah.
Star Wars is very big over there.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Adam? Like, what do you think is the issue here? Do you think that there's backlash from The Last Jedi that you think that this is going on, or
I
do you
don't
just
think so.
do you think it's just that maybe this wasn't the right gamble to move forward with a Solo movie that no one was really asking for?
Exactly. That's what I think is the main problem, is that nobody asked for this film. Mm-hmm. And most people, after it was announced, really didn't. There wasn't a lot of interest about the film in general after its announcement.
Yeah.
I'm sure a small, minute percentage might have to do with people who didn't like The Last Jedi, but I just think it wasn't. I agree with you. I don't think it was the right move to make. I would have explored another character
or another story. That's the thing I don't like, is like this Star Wars story, but then they focus on single characters.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into spoilers. There might be minor spoilers, but I kind of feel like at this point, like with Solo, I'm not going to go into anything that's plot breaking, but here's the thing. With Solo, I feel the movie's good. But you hear how I said good. I didn't say the movie's good or the movie's really good. The movie's just good. It had a lot. I had fun with it. There are some scenes that are really good. There are some scenes that are just really bad. But for the most part, like, nobody doesn't act well. The movie visually looks good, but colorless. It's an ugly looking movie. Like, it feels like the movie was shot through like a filter of like dark. Like there's mud on the lens. Like, everything is really
earth toned, and
yeah, but like not in a good way.
It's like that grittiness that they tried to apply to a lot of video games around the late PS3.
To be honest, though,
stuff.
you might kind of like it, because you remember how you were saying that you wanted a Conan the Barbarian movie to be filmed like it was like how it was like earthy tones and dirty. That's actually how the movie looks.
Really?
That's how it feels to me. It's dirty. And I guess that maybe it's an intentional point because it's Solo and it's supposed to be like seedy underbelly of like the criminal world. But look,
from what you were telling me, it never really delivers on that.
It doesn't. There are just some things. I guess I expected a little bit more out of it. I wasn't expecting a lot. But the trailers were getting good and the spots were looking good. But I never bought... Here's a good way to describe it. I never felt like the movie justified its purpose. I never felt like I learned anything new about Solo. If you're a big Star Wars fan, go out and see it. I definitely think you'll enjoy it. But like, Adam is just kind of a so Star Wars fan. Like, you enjoyed enough that you'll check them out in theaters if you hear they're good. But you're not like following, like reading books and comics like I am.
Yeah, like I kind of fell out of Star Wars somewhere in my teens. Like, I never really collected the action figures or anything. I had a couple. Yeah. But I never was like going out and buying Star Wars stuff. Like, really,
there's a shitload of Star Wars stuff here just in general.
Yeah, on your side. Yeah.
But I almost tailored it just to piss people off, because almost all of it in here, I think besides Lando, I think everything that's Star Wars in here is all from like everything post Force Awakens. Like, it's all stuff that's after the original trilogy, except my Lando figure. And I've enjoyed. I like The Last Jedi. Obviously, I've had a lot of issues, and I feel like there were a lot of things I would have added to it to fix a lot of its issues that were easy fixes. And I think the same thing could have been done with Solo, and I think a lot of the things could be done with Rogue One, because I enjoy Rogue One more than you do. You do not like Rogue One.
Yeah.
And
I don't. I feel like that movie really... I understand why they made it. I don't think that they needed to.
I thought that it was a movie that was good. I had a problem with a couple of the character development in it, like developments in that story that it didn't work.
Like I guess for Rogue One, for me, like they set up a couple really awesome characters and then just kill them off and never explore them.
Yeah.
And then the characters that they sort of focus on the entire film are very
not interesting.
Yeah, they're like if you bought a box of Cracker Jacks and it was just regular popcorn inside.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's like that level of disappointment if you like Cracker Jacks. I mean, I don't know if
or like getting a box of Lucky Charms and only getting the oat one, the little like cracker.
Yeah, but
one.
they're not even frosted.
Yeah.
It'd be like buying Lucky Charms, opening up and finding like fucking.
See, I think Adam's interpretation of Rogue One's a little harsh there.
Yeah,
but I see what he's talking about. But the thing is that look, okay. But I mean, Adam, I don't believe that you were so disappointed in Rogue One that you're like, I need to go boycott it.
Yeah, or fuck Star Wars now. Yeah, I've never been like that.
Yeah, because I was actually, I posted the other day, I was at my mom's house and I found these old drawings and I found a big book of Star Wars pictures that I drew from first grade.
Yeah, your fucking spelling was terrible.
Well, I was in first grade. I was like 5.
I was doing fucking multiplication and division in first grade.
Oh, shut the fuck up. It was a first grade drawing. You don't realize that I was like 5 years old. But come on.
Your spelling was bad.
I barely knew how to write. I still don't know how to write.
I could tell.
Yeah. It's so funny. It just says like Boba Fett died in number 3 by Han Solo with a stick and got eaten up. I'm pretty sure that's what that says.
Yeah. All of that.
I've been analyzing it all day. That I'm like, what the fuck was I writing?
And then after that, it's like, what the fuck did he say?
I think it says eaten up.
Yeah.
Because I saw a couple of clips.
I don't know if the main like focal point of that drawing is it the Sarlacc or is it supposed to be Boba Fett?
The picture
I can't tell.
The picture is when Boba Fett got hit with the stick and his jetpack goes flying. And he falls into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, none of that detail translates.
What are you talking about? It's him it's Boba Fett flying, and I thought that the picture was actually a good interpretation. For a first grader, I thought it was a pretty good interpretation. It's funny.
Oh,
you want me to
yeah, we should put it up.
I don't know how I'm going to be able to try. I could
take a picture of it with your phone and put it up.
I do have it as a picture on my phone. But,
okay.
All right, maybe I'll put it, if you're listening to it, if you want to see it on the video, just go to the YouTube page. But I'll try to get a picture of my Boba Fett drawing. I have a bunch. of really funny ones. It's so funny because I know we're going off topic here, but I think it's funny because on my other drawings, I didn't know how to spell TIE Fighter. So instead of trying to spell TIE Fighter, I just drew a picture of a TIE Fighter. So it says the man I fucked and could not spell Millennium Falcon, but it's definitely supposed to be Millennium Falcon blows up two TIE fighters, and instead of trying to do a TIE fighter, I just put a picture of a TIE fighter.
Times 2 or
no, I put 2, number 2, and then I drew a picture of a TIE fighter. And I used to spell fighted like it looked like I spelled attitude, but like with FI, it was like fighted.
Fighted, dude.
Like I didn't know what the past tense of fought. I didn't know what the past tense of fight was, so it was fighted.
He spelled died, D-I-D-E.
You're like making fun of me. I was a first grader, man.
I know, but like,
dude, I was like reading like Chicka Chicka Boom Boom in that like. Also, it was the 90s. Like
you gotta
the
realize,
education system wasn't that great.
I didn't know you then, so I'm thinking you now as I know you writing that, and it's just too funny to me. Because I'm seeing adult Bobby write died, D-I-D-E.
It's not adult. Look, that is exactly the interpretation.
You know what? It looks. Now that I see it a second time, it kind of looks like. Oh, fuck.
It's really cool.
What was that Apple II math game? Number Munchers? It kind of looks like Boba Fett riding a giant orange dildo towards a troglodyte from the.
He's not riding; it's his jetpack, man. I think that's actually pretty good for a first grader. It's a first grader.
I mean, seeing it a second time, it was better than I remembered it. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that much.
I knew. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you got a laugh out because I got a huge laugh out of it. Because I made a Silver Surfer. That's another one. I have a Silver Surfer one. I was a Silver Surfer fan in first grade. Like that. I'll see if I can find that one.
Yeah.
And send you a picture of it because if that's not proof enough that how much I've liked the Silver Surfer, like how much I've always
first grade couldn't even fucking spell words.
Couldn't spell die. Couldn't spell the past tense of died. But yet now I come up with a new D word for Adam every single week as an adjective form. I think that just as a first grader in the 90s, it's not that bad. I thought that I was actually pretty good. So I think my artwork, if you're looking at it now, I think it's pretty good. If my son gave me that in first grade, I would proudly put it on the refrigerator.
That's because you just have a loving heart in general.
I think so. I also think I might have had some sort of issues because for some reason I never stapled. I made these into books.
Yeah.
And I would staple them together and make books out of them. I must have been like Japanese or something because for some reason I only stapled on the right side of the page.
Yeah.
So you have to read it
backwards.
Like this, like a manga book.
Yeah.
I was showing it with my mom. My mom's like, "Yeah, I used to tell you all the time, don't put it that way. That's not how
books work."
And I was too stupid and arrogant. And I thought it was really funny because my mom...
Fuck you, Mom. I'm doing it that way.
Yeah, because I just did it. I was too stubborn. But it also thought she was also like, "Hey, Bobby, you want to see the really funny part about this?" And so she pulls out one of them and says, "Here's the Star Wars picture." And then she flips it and she says, "Here's the homework that you were supposed to do it on. Notice that nothing is filled in." And it just has like these, like pictures of apples plus apple equals how many apples. And it's like everything is blank. I just would just take them, flip them upside down because that was the only way I could get blank paper back then was just take my old homework that I never did. Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times. But, all right. Well, hopefully, I don't want this Solo doing bad because obviously I don't want to see Star Wars get like some bad thing, but I also want to keep people's... from sitting there hating on The Last Jedi. Is this like fuel to the fire? Like, see, we told you, our audience, we're joining together. Guarantee. You were mentioning before we started the show that you were talking to someone, they don't even think that the next episode will cross 1 billion. I think that's it. Then you start reevaluating what you're doing with Star Wars. Mm-hmm. If that happens and Star Wars Episode 9 does not cross $1 billion, then we got issues. But I do not believe that at all. Okay,
so just before we move on to anything, can we just address the fact that they retroactively made Lando Calrissian pansexual?
Oh, yeah, how they just kind of randomly did this.
Yeah, we don't really feel like that it's problematic that he's a pansexual.
I don't give a shit because
and you actually feel like it fits his character, but I think
I've always just thought as I said. I might be ignorant to it. I'm not really familiar with what pansexual is. I mean, Adam, do you have an...
It's basically like people will like become romantic and sexually involved with
whoever.
Basically whatever they feel attracted to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I've always just kind of took that as that's Lando.
And after he kind of brought that up, I'm like, yeah, it kind of does, like it fits the character, but there's actually no evidence in the previous iterations of the character for this.
I remember. Do you know who Jeremy Johns is on YouTube? He does reviews. He's like wears a suit, does jump cuts. He has like a red screen in the background, rates things as like awesome-tacular, dog shit, best scene drunk. Or no alcohol required. Yeah. I'll buy that on Blu-ray. Like, he has a really goofy rating system. He actually said it best on one of his videos. What the pansexual thing is that when you have to tell somebody it in an interview because your movie doesn't point it out, That's just bad writing. That's just lazy.
Yeah, it's bad writing, and it almost seems like it was done retroactively
to appease somebody.
To appeal to some crowd, like almost tokenizing.
Yeah, and
that's the problem I have with it. But I
don't have any. Yeah, I whenever you were telling me what pansexual was, I'm like, well, to be best part, you know what the best part is?
I agree.
When I saw that, when
I
saw that article about him being pansexual, I didn't look up what pansexual was because I didn't care. It's not
important.
As long as Lando's not gay, which is nothing wrong with being gay, but it just doesn't. That's not the character. The character is clearly heterosexual in some way.
Yeah,
like he's clearly attracted to women. So if they just randomly turned Lando, I think, into closet gay or just only gay. That would be kind of what the fuck. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
But if you want to make Poe Dameron or Finn, even though it probably would fit Poe more, but if you want to come out and say Poe is gay, okay, well then that could work. I don't really.
Yeah, because I don't feel like there's any scenes where it shows him being attracted to women, so it would be okay to make that leap.
Yeah, and I think Oscar Isaac has said, yeah, go ahead, make him gay. I don't really care, and that's the same thing. But for example, it'd be like making Han Solo gay. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't
They could make him bi, I guess.
But yeah, with Lando, I just I don't have an issue because whenever they said that he was pansexual, I was like, all right, well, I don't really give a shit about that. Well, I don't know what that means. I mean, that's just me being ignorant. I'm sorry if there's somebody out there who's pansexual or something like that. It's not meant to be offensive to you. But whenever I saw that he was pansexual, I was just like,
Sure, whatever.
I don't really care. And then when I found out what pansexual is, if that's what our interpretation of it is, that he just is attracted to anything that he wants to, kind of thing. He'll just have romantic relationships with anybody, anything. Then I was like, okay, that's always how I thought of Lando. That he just wants to. He'll fuck anything. I mean, I always just kind of thought Lando was like a Captain Kirk, where he was just like, yeah, I'll fuck it. Can I fuck it? Yeah, then I will. That's just kind of how I interpret Lando.
I agree with you that I think it does fit the character, but I just
there is a hint in the movie. It's not a spoiler or anything, but there is a hint in the movie that
fucked a robot?
That Lando might have fucked a robot. It was weird and very odd to think Lando might have fucked a machine, but whatever. I mean, I guess it works. I mean, they don't roll it out like that Lando wouldn't. But it is just kind of a weird thing to imagine Lando fucking a machine, a robot. But I don't know. They still never. They don't really address it, but they do kind of hint if he wants to fuck me, he technically could. They do say that. They said that the robot series said it's possible. Whoa,
it'll work.
Yeah, that's I think what she says. It'll work. What? It's like The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
They were in the movie The Shape of Water. Yeah. They were like, "How did you have sex with that thing?" And she kind of hints that he's got a dick. He makes it work. Somehow we can make it work. I'm like, okay. So, but no, I have no problem with Lando being pansexual. I just kind of have an issue with them just kind of addressing it out of the gate, out of context in an interview. It does,
instead of in the movie.
I
think that's the problem.
It
seems like pandering.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like you're oh, well, it's almost, you know what? It feels like something that you'd say to get a headline.
You know what it is? It's the kind of shit that J.K. Rowling does all the time with her characters. Retroactively, years after the books came out, it's like, that person's gay. That person's bisexual. That person is transgender.
Yeah, even though, I wrote them with the intention of them being that, but I don't write that anywhere in the book. I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, then they're not that, because it wasn't integral to their character, so nobody needs to know it.
Yeah, it's just not needed.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But hey, if that makes people feel good, finding that, then all more power to you. That's great. But I guess from Adam and I's perspective, I think
it was just poorly executed.
Yeah, I think if they had written it in there, I wouldn't have cared. Yeah. It just it does feel like something that they just said. Oh, this will get as a headline. This will get people talking about the thing, kind of like any publicity is good publicity type of thing.
Yeah.
So all right.
I mean, I'm not really sure. Well, I mean, there probably is, but I'm not really sure that being or having a pansexual character could be bad publicity.
No,
I can see it being like not important. To people. I don't see it like people, going like, "Well, fuck this movie then. I don't like pansexual people."
No,
there is.
It was, yeah. There was a little bit of a, not a big one, but there was some bad feedback from that, being like, well, what is Disney doing to our characters? Now they're retroactively making him pansexual. He's always been like, well. That's just me. I just never really thought. I think it's actually funny because they addressed it better in the Saturday Night Live skit with Donald Glover as Lando. They addressed the pansexual thing better than the movie did.
Yeah.
And I get it.
With a fucking lounge tune.
Yeah, with a lounge tune, for one. But making love in space.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, but I did find it really weird that Disney was like, yeah, we're gonna hint that Lando fucks a robot. I thought that was really odd for Disney to do that. Yeah. But I think that for the little drop, like the little blowback that it did for people having a problem with it, I thought it was really stupid. But hey, keep going, Star Wars. I mean, guess what? I'd say that unfortunately, with Solo, if I had to rank it on a scale, I only think the two movies that are worse than it are Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I think I might like Revenge of the Sith more than Solo, but I don't know. I'm going to let that sink in. I might go see it again, maybe. And that's the thing, is usually Star Wars, I try to at least see them at least twice or 3 times in theaters.
Yeah. Because
every single one of them I've seen at least twice. I saw Rogue One twice. I saw Last Jedi twice, and I saw.
I usually only see movies once, but I don't miss a lot.
Force Awakens I saw 3 times. I think so. So, but that's hey, whatever. I mean, it's still the most I've ever seen a movie was Revenge of the Sith. I saw it 5 times in theaters. I was just literally taking anybody who would take me to go see that movie at the time because I was 15. Yeah. I think the movie came out in 2005. And
God, wow, that's so weird when you bring shit up that's like from that long ago, and it doesn't feel like it's that long ago until you like, oh yeah, we were 15 and 16.
Yeah, like, I believe it came out in 2005. I think.
That sounds right.
That does sound right because I should have been just almost out of high school. Let's see, Revenge of the Sith. I just remember that I'm such a friggin' nerd that my mom said, hey, we're going on vacation my mom was getting a big trip together for the Bahamas. And I asked when was it going to be happening. And she says, it's going to be happening sometime in July or June or something like that. And my mom was like, I was like,
Revenge of the Sith comes out. I'm not going.
Yeah. She's like, what? I'm like, Revenge of the Sith comes out that time. And let's see, when did it come out? Revenge of the Sith. Wow, I was right, 2005.
Yep.
God, good on me. It came out in May 19th, 2005. So the trip was around. So
I think I might have been 15, about to be 16.
Maybe. But I said, I'm not going on vacation if it's on the same day or if it's on the same week as Revenge of the Sith, because there's like no movie theaters down there that I can go see it in. And so but luckily we had the vacation was like in June or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was honestly saying I'm not going on vacation because I'm going to go see Star Wars.
Fuck.
It was a big deal back then. Yeah. So, okay. Well, we're going to move on from Star Wars and
yeah.
We're going to probably go on to this last thing before we kind of close up the show. Which is Adam just watched for the first time Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see, we were talking about it for a little bit. I was like, no, we'll save this for the show. What did you think about Jurassic World?
I liked it.
Yeah?
I thought it was a pretty good movie. There was a lot of shit that happened and I'm like, wow, that's really dumb. Mm-hmm. But overall, I was thoroughly entertained and I enjoyed the film.
What do you think about that final fight scene with the T-Rex?
Wow, the first time the T-Rex goes down, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it's over for these people. I mean, obviously, I've seen the trailers for the second movie, so I know some of them are coming back.
Yeah.
But I'm like, holy shit, some of these people might get fucked up.
Yeah.
And then the Velociraptor Blue that got knocked out, like, gets back up and is like, he goes, "Square up, punk!" And he just, like, runs at the fucking Indominus Rex and distracts it while the T-Rex.
What do you think of the
up.
Indominus Rex? Do you enjoy it? Or did you think it was kind of a cheap little? Because it seems like the second one kind of just has Indominus Rex too. That's what it looks like, at least.
Yeah. So
I wasn't that big of a fan of Indominus Rex.
The overall plot for the movie isn't really that good, but the movie it's really entertaining.
That's all I wanted. That's
It's
all we
weird.
got out of it. Like
Yeah.
I went and saw it in IMAX, and we were just like, "This is fucking awesome!"
So like the whole first part of the film,
When that T-Rex comes out,
people were talking about like, "Oh, we have to be careful." Everybody remembers what happens to the John Hammond Park, and the fucking guy that owns it now, who specifically handed this island by John Hammond, like inherited it from him.
Yeah.
He's like a really interesting character that doesn't get developed very much.
Which
and
is
then
why
they
I
just
didn't
kill
like him.
off.
I didn't like him because of like, oh wow, I thought he was actually gonna make it through this movie. No, he's a cocky pilot and he just somehow fucks it up.
he dies really lame.
Yeah, that helicopter crashes out of
And
nowhere.
he was kind of an interesting character.
He
I
was,
wish-
and I thought he was gonna last longer. And I'm like, oh wait, they
But like
just
the whole
fucking
time
killed
they're
him.
like, "Oh, we can't make the same mistakes," and then they do exactly the same mistakes. Like just that part was like really dumb, because I'm like, you all have shown that you had advanced knowledge of what happened before and what went wrong, and you did the exact same fucking shit basically.
And then Vincent D'Onofrio is a one-note villain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad that he died.
I like
I didn't
how
want
he
to
died.
see him. Yeah, I didn't want to see him again as
Yeah.
that character. That character was not fun.
Yeah, he I love Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean,
Like
Daredevil and Kingpin was great.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
he's
was
an
like, he
excellent
really
actor,
bogged
but-
down the
Yeah.
plot. I was like, oh, this again? We gotta weaponize the dinosaurs. But I mean, does this movie like get you excited for 2?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think 2 looks like it's gonna be another fun time. Like
Yeah.
just stupid
I just
fun.
think that Jurassic World definitely wasn't a perfect movie. Very entertaining.
No, but
definitely not a perfect
and that's
movie.
not yeah. But you'd say it's probably the second best one. And this is coming from me, who
Yeah.
actually liked all of them except for the stupid gymnastic scenes in Lost World.
I mean, I like all 3 of the movies. They're all entertaining films. They all have problems. I mean, well, the first one really has probably the least amount of problems.
Yeah, even though it has that glaring film mistake with the T-Rex pushing the car over the hill, that even though that hill was literally the one where he was just standing on.
Yeah.
That's always the biggest, like, what? How'd they fuck that up?
Yeah.
Way to go, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I just, like, for me, there was a lot of characters that just didn't seem written well. Like, it was pretty clear that from, like, the first time that Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt were, like, in the same scene together, that they had some kind of history, but I just didn't buy it. I just, like, didn't buy that they were
I don't buy their relationship either.
Yeah.
I really don't. And you know what the weirdest part? I actually think they have chemistry, but I don't buy their relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I never bought that they're romantically involved.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. And the older brother was, like, for the first... I don't know. Up until he pulls his brother out of the water and then they joke, which seems really out of fucking place.
Mm-hmm.
After that point, he's like an actual, like, well-rounded character. But before that, I'm like, why the fuck are you even in this movie?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
here's another thing. He just needs to admit that their parents are dead in a divorce.
Yeah.
Like, that's his only plot point.
No, not the younger brother. The older brother was just lame.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Wasn't that the point of
the young... Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
older brother is the one
The
that
younger
says,
brother
hey...
already knows about it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's his only purpose in the movie, is to say, oh, yeah, our parents are getting divorced. That's why they sent us here, so that, they
could talk to the divorce lawyer.
Yeah. Okay, you want to know what my biggest problem with the movie was? I thought it was really mean-spirited about what they did to the babysitter. Like, what a fucking terrible way to go.
Oh, yeah, she was just thrown from one pterodactyl to the other and then fucking into the sea creature thing. I can't remember that thing's name.
Mosasaur.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, wow, like, I got it. She wasn't a good babysitter, but she didn't need to fucking go out like that.
If we're gonna be real about the movie, besides Blue, the star of the film is the Mosasaur, because the Mosasaur fucks everything up. Fucks everything up. Anything you throw at it, it fucks up.
Did you see the trailer for the second one where there are a bunch of people surfing and the Mosasaur's in the fucking water in the wave?
Yeah.
And it's gonna come out and fucking just eat that dude? And I mean, okay, you watched it with Joanne, right? You watched it with your wife. And
she loves Jurassic Park.
Yes, I mean, I think that might be the only thing Joanne and I can agree on as a movie is that we both like Jurassic Park and dinosaurs. And we both like SpongeBob, but that's not a movie. Technically, they have movies of it. Yeah. But, okay, so I remember when I was watching it in the theater, when the Indominus Rex goes near that pit, and he's about to go, and the Mosasaur comes and fucks him up and drags him down. Yeah. I just remember everybody, like, fucking losing it, like, clapping, standing, like, oh, yeah, like,
you know what?
I want to know if you had, like, that reaction to it, where like, that's fucking awesome!
Yeah, I did. I actually said something out loud at that point in the film. And then the fucking T-Rex and Blue, like, look at each other and like, yeah, we fucked him up. And then they just walk away.
Yeah, like, yo, I ain't gonna eat you. You cool. We cool, man. And then they just kind of, like, go away. They just
part ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. I enjoy Jurassic World, and I always sit there and say, like,
it's super entertaining.
Yeah,
it's definitely not perfect, but it's super entertaining.
That's why everyone's like, oh, I think the trailers for the second one look bad. I'm like, the trailers for the first one were, like, just the same. Like, look, I'm sorry.
Do you remember how much I was shitting on the trailers for those movies?
Yeah, Jurassic
World. The original
podcast?
Mm-hmm. I was fucking dumping all over. I didn't go see the fucking movie.
Because you didn't like the trailers.
Because I didn't like the trailers. And wow, I'm fucking stupid. I kind of regret it now because it was a really entertaining film.
I wonder if you would ever take that interpretation now and watch the first Godzilla. The 2014 Godzilla.
Can we just cut the human scenes out?
I mean, I wish it would. Well, maybe we can I'll just show you the last, like, 15 minutes of it.
I got a question, because I don't really... I'm not...
Is this about Jurassic World?
No, it's about Godzilla. Like, Is that Godzilla movie different from Toho's Shin Godzilla? Or is that the Japanese title for the new Godzilla? Like...
No, they're different.
They're... Okay. Because I heard the Shin Godzilla films were really fucking good.
The Shin Godzilla movie, I actually really liked. I really liked the Shin Godzilla movie.
Yeah. So that's different from the American film Godzilla.
I believe
it's a different creature.
So. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Because eventually they brought the 1997 Godzilla into Toho and they killed it.
Yeah.
Just called it Zilla, and they're like, that's not really Godzilla. I don't believe I forget. Maybe I unless they decide to bring it in there, I don't believe it has any, like, technically I guess you could bring it in there if you wanted.
So when they do this, did they release King Kong? Yeah, they released a new King Kong.
Yeah, they did the King Kong movie, and then Godzilla comes out in like 2020, and then
is that King Kong versus Godzilla?
No, after Godzilla 2, they're going to do King Kong versus Godzilla.
But all right, so that's going to be the American Godzilla versus the American King Kong.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they made King Kong so big, because this Godzilla's our Godzilla in the 2014 one is huge, like huge.
Yeah.
He's built like me, where his thighs are like tree trunks, like they're huge.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I think maybe you would have fun with... I still think you would like Godzilla, even with the human parts. It's just that, yeah, I wish the human parts would kind of go away. I think they'll fix that for the sequel. So, I just think that you should trust me and maybe give Godzilla 2014 a chance. 'Cause I like that movie. I really do. I remember my sister watched it, and she's not a Godzilla fan. She's like, I like that movie. She's like, I just like Godzilla. I just wanted to see more Godzilla. And when Godzilla's on screen, he's awesome. But it's just that fact that he's not on screen that much until like the end of the movie.
Yeah, they do like the last 30 minutes of the movie, he's on screen, right?
Not even that. I think he's only in the movie for like a total of like 15 minutes.
God damn.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, you want me to suffer through this movie with 15 minutes of
Well,
Godzilla?
You get the first half hour, the first like 25 minutes, half hour has Bryan Cranston in it, and he's amazing in it. He's so good. I buy it. I believe it. And then, he dies. I think you knew that if you didn't.
Yeah, I did already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dies.
And then like his son or something.
Yeah, his son, who's just a plank of wood. He's
got the personality of a board.
Yeah, he's really not entertaining. He's a good actor, but he's just boring. But it's just all the stuff in between. I mean, what is his name? He's the famous Japanese actor. He's in like Inception. He's like in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and he's super famous.
I know who you're talking.
He's like
about.
bald.
Yeah.
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
Yes, Ken Watanabe. He's in there for a little bit, and he's like the science guy, and he's it's good. I'm just saying it's a good checkout. You should just you did it with Jurassic World, and you end up liking it.
That's true.
And
That's true.
And I said
just in case, because we haven't talked about it yet, started watching Ninja Turtles 2. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah. I mean,
not the new one, not the new one.
No. Well, I'll be doing the new ones. Did you just watch those 2 episodes that we watched, or
I haven't been back to it, but it's not bad.
I'm trying to finish up the series now because I got like 4 episodes left till I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And then they just did a whole Mad Max themed 4 episodes, where the whole thing is post-apocalyptic and it's all like pretty much parodying Mad Max. There's actually a point where Raphael gets blown up, like his car gets blown up, gets thrown on, and he's like on the ground. He's like, ugh, what a day. What a lovely, lovely day. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I love that shit. And that's the kind of crap that happens in that show all the time, that there's just a lot of goofy little fan shit thrown around that you're like, oh, that's so cool. Like, and it's all clearly Mad Max. Like, there's people riding dune buggies in the desert. They're looking for water. They're looking for, like, any type of greens that they can do. And it's a good show. And then, as soon as I'm done with that, and I'm almost done with my current season of Legion, but once I think I finish Ninja Turtles, I'll start maybe moving on to One Piece, because I also watched One Piece, and I actually enjoyed it, and I'm actually curious as to where it goes. So once I finish Ninja Turtles, then I can start moving on to One Piece afterwards.
Dude, so. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you to start watching Ninja Turtle, because I think eventually you're going to be like, oh man, this is a really good show. Like, it really starts sucking you in. You're like, man, I'm really liking what they're doing with these characters, even though...
Well, I think we watched like 2 or 3 episodes. Like, even it being that early in the show, like, it was already kind of interesting enough.
Yeah, it's got
that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's got this really weird subplot that's going on with, like, the Krang, who are not just a guy, it's a species that's secretly invaded Earth, and that they're in little robot people,
and they're working with actual humans. Like, where does that lead? Yeah,
they do all that stuff. Like, almost nothing they do in that show ever doesn't go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like, one guy got turned into a monster, and then they blew him up, and then he comes back, and I'm like, that's probably the only thing that doesn't really go anywhere, because they build up the guy like he's going to be, like, this big bad guy, but he only shows up, like, once again.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, because they come up with the names for most of their characters, like, you know, like Leatherhead and stuff like that, and Mondo Gecko, stuff like those goofy names that they, like, had the 90s.
Yeah.
How they come up with almost all their names is Michelangelo just names them all.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, what are you? Oh, you're a crocodile man. Leatherhead. Yeah. That's going to be your name. And it's just funny because they almost always just stick to it.
Yeah.
You know, like...
they just let Mike name everything.
Yeah, they just let him name everything.
Yeah.
And it just works. And it's really funny because then they eventually... I think the next episode, Michelangelo meets his, like, hero that's like Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
And he's just an asshole, but he pretty much just plays a Chuck Norris character. He's just
like the real Chuck Norris, then.
Is Chuck Norris supposed to be an asshole?
Yeah, he kind of, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with this. It's clearly supposed to be Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
This character. His name's like Chris Bradley or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's doing, like, infomercials and movies and TV shows. And then they were doing that. You remember how at the beginning of the show... they had, like, a little cartoon of, like, that's parodying Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, they do that with every fucking season. After each season,
there's a new
hot show that they're watching.
Yeah.
So like one season is the parody of a Star Trek. The other one, the next season, is like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Then the next, but the funny thing is that on all these shows, all the voice actors from the shows are just in the next show.
Yeah.
So they always play like the same character,
doing
the same trope, but as a different voice
design. Yeah.
Like there's a character that's like freaking out and he gets slapped.
Yeah.
Like they play that joke in every new show, and then eventually like they do. They have the Star Trek parody. Then the next season they have the Conan the Barbarian. Then like the next season they have like a Chris Bradley animated TV show that's like parodying A-Team, but with Chris Bradley, where he's like able to do all these ridiculous feats that no person could. But and then like somehow he'll throw like, and it's all because I had Chris Bradley milk. Like in the middle of the show is so tongue in cheek with its humor that it's just like whenever they do that, you're like, man, they really are running this gag like throughout the whole show. Yeah. They constantly are making jokes to this. Yeah, I think it's a great show, and I'm really excited that one, you enjoyed it and that you think that there's some intrigue there. But also, I'm just curious to see, because I was watching the early episodes, like, man, these are nowhere near the quality of
that the later
season get, because they start making the motions much more fluent and less choppy. I'm like, man, these are I don't remember it being this choppy originally when I watched it, because I guess they're slowly they changed it,
improved it.
But also, I also want to throw this. I'll show it to you because I'm going to show you the battlefield after we finish this up. But in the last season of the show, they pretty much turned the intro, because the intro music is like a rap Ninja Turtle thing, and it's not the greatest. It's kind of cheesy. But I
don't. For me, it fits.
Yeah, it fits. It's just it's cheesy, but it's a kid show. But the last season is clearly an homage to just the intro to Cowboy Bebop. Like it's clearly just being Cowboy Bebop. It's hilarious.
Awesome. I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm going to show you it whenever we finish this up. But that's going to be it for the show. I mean, we did actually a pretty decently long show, and we had almost no topics. So hopefully, I mean, this version of the show wasn't too much for you, but we
spent half the show ripping on incels, so.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but, all right, Adam, you do your part of the show. Where can people find us?
You can find us at facebook.com. Whoa. I said // GTAS podcast. And you can find us at twitter.com /GTAS podcast. And if you are you're watching this on YouTube right now, if you go right underneath the video, you'll find the links for our audio podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. You're welcome to tweet at us or send us a Facebook message at any time. We'll answer them.
Yeah, we always answer our feedback, and we've always usually really appreciated feedback, whether it's and here's the thing,
positive or negative, we will engage you.
Yeah, and usually here's the thing, we just like to create a little nice atmosphere for anybody. If you disagree with our things, disagree. There's a lot of people who disagree with our Ninja Turtle reviews or our Billy Mitchell stuff like that.
Yeah, and when we were talking about the new artwork for the new Ninja
Turtles, a
lot
of people were really and guess what?
Oh shit! You should tell people about that Billy Mitchell little tidbit that you.
Oh yeah, I thought this was kind of weird. Just for people who have followed us for at least a few, at least for the last maybe like 10 podcasts or something like that. Yeah. We did this like story about Billy Mitchell being. Having his scores taken off from
Twin
Galaxy's website and being discredited for doing fake reviews, and it seemed that Twin Galaxies was going to distance themselves from Billy Mitchell. But one of my friends sent me a message that he got a free sample of Billy Mitchell's hot sauce, and I'm like, what? Where the fuck did you get that? It's Pittsburgh. I don't think that shit's around here. And he was just like, dude, I was at this this little like thing called Video Brain or Game Brain or something like that, being hosted by a friend. He's like, and Billy Mitchell was there. He's handing it out, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, Walter Day was there too. I don't know if you remember, because he's not a big video game guy, but he remembers watching King of Kong. Walter Day is like one of the main guys at Twin Galaxies, and it seems kind of funny that
they were like hanging out together.
This was only about a week ago. Like I got this about a week ago. This was a message that someone sent me on Wednesday, so it had to have been within the last month that this happened. He didn't just send me this and like, oh shit, this is from a month ago. Let me send it to Bob. No, I mean, I thought that was kind of odd that the main guy from Twin Galaxies is hanging. They could be friends. I just kind of thought it would be weird that the guy from Twin Galaxies was hanging out with Billy Mitchell after all this shit with Billy Mitchell got.
Whose records, he just said these are invalid.
Yeah, and we have to disqualify him from...
but let's be real here. They're fucking adults. Maybe they're just like, yeah, whatever. That was business, and our relationship is personal.
Yeah, that's a professional thing, and it's like whenever, there have been instances I've known where people get fired and they're still friends.
Yeah.
Like I have to let you go, but, we're not, that's just professionally, I still like you, but maybe that's the point. But yeah, that is a funny thing. I'm glad you mentioned that before, I forgot. But all right, everybody, that would be it for today's episode of the podcast. I'm Bob Rusin.
I'm Adam Miller.
Until next time, don't get captured, and farewell.